Is there a limit on how many blog posts one can write per day? Does a successful blog need a consistent publishing schedule? Let's find it out by checking out data from my websites with dozens of daily blog posts and inconsistent schedules. Here's the first website. So I operate this small accommodation niche website here in Finland with my friend. So we publish only one day per week, and during that day we churn out content as much as possible. So we publish at least 5 to 10 blog posts on every Wednesday. And we do this about 2 or 3 times per month. Seems like a horrible idea. Basically no consistency, and then there are those spikes of 10 posts per day. Well, let's take a look at the growth of the website to see whether Google actually cares. So here you can see Google Search Console data for the past 6 months of the website. Based on the growth of this website, it seems Google doesn't really care. Now, as the next example, let's take a look at another website that I operate. This one is only 6 weeks old, and it already has 70 blog posts in it. And by the way, those blog posts are handwritten, so I didn't use AI to generate them. But basically, I published these blog posts in 3 batches. During the first day, I published 20 posts. Then I took a week break, and then I published 30 posts in one day. And then about 3 weeks later, I published 20 posts during one day. So once again, looks very sketchy, right? So this is a brand new website and has absolutely no consistency, but then there are those days when I publish more than 20 blog posts. Google should keep this website far from the search results, only if they actually cared. So let's take a look at the Google performance of this website. As you can see, the site is growing really nicely. It's actually already closer to 100 clicks per day, even with such a young domain, which is really promising. So this also gives me an impression that Google really doesn't seem to care whether you publish 1 post a day or whether you publish 30 posts a day and then be 1 week silent. But let's not celebrate just yet. Here's a third example that looks a bit worrisome to me. Here's the performance of a brand new domain where I have published 100 blog posts during the first 2 weeks. Now this website is already 3 months of age, and even though these 100 initial blog posts that I published had a ton of time to marinate in the search results, it actually seems that the site is going down in the search results. So there was this initial impression spike with a couple of clicks from Google, but since then it has almost had no clicks for 2 months. So what went wrong with this site? Why isn't this site looking like the others that I just showed you with similar inconsistent schedules? Well, the answer is simple. I used Chachi to generate this third website. To put it short, Chachi cannot write content that would rank high on search results. This is because it cannot really generate unique and original text from scratch. It rather repeats what it has already seen on the internet, and Google doesn't really like this because they don't want to eat up their space by showing results that repeat stuff over and over again. I've actually made a separate video about how ChatGPT can ruin your website. I've left a link to it in the description. Make sure to watch it. So the question is there actually a daily limit on how many blog posts you can write? Based on my experience, there is absolutely no limitations as to how many blog posts you can produce a day. As long as your content is of high enough quality, Google doesn't really care. Similarly, Google doesn't seem to care about those publishing schedules. As long as a piece of content is the best answer to the searcher's question, it has the chance for ranking high on the search results. I've actually had a website that was inactive for 1.5 years and it still kept on growing in the search results. At this point, I would like to invite you to check my free blogging masterclass. In this masterclass, I teach you everything you need to know to start a successful blog this year. I've left a link to the masterclass in the description. Anyways, if there was a limit on how many blog posts one can publish per day, who would actually benefit from it? Absolutely nobody. Big websites can easily churn out 50 to 100 blog posts every day. If there were those strict limits on how many blog posts one can publish a day, it would take decades from these big websites to get all the content out. And this would make absolutely no sense. So if you or your team can produce 100 truly unique and original and high quality pieces of content every day, just go for it. But here's the thing, the real issue is in the content quality. To rank high on Google, your blog post content needs to be unique, original, well thought, and more importantly, provide actual value to your searchers. For a blog post to rank high on Google, it needs to be the best solution to a problem on the entire internet. In other words, you need to invest more time and effort than anyone else prior. I've actually made a separate video about how to write blog posts that truly have a chance for ranking high. I've left a link to it in the description and I highly recommend you checking it out. So basically all I'm trying to say here is that if you're working solo, there's probably no chance for you to write 10 or 20 blog posts every day that are of high enough quality to have a significant chance for ranking high on Google search results. As you saw in the third example, the 100 blog posts that I wrote with ChatGPT are not doing well on Google because they are not of high enough quality. But then in the second example, where I had just a 6-week-old website with 70 pieces of content, those were doing really well because I had actually handwritten those blog posts prior, and those took more than 200 hours to produce. So to put it short, Google doesn't really care how you got there. As long as you provide value and write better content than your competitors, you have a great chance for ranking high. If your site is not performing, it has probably nothing to do with consistency or how many blog posts you write per day. It's probably a content issue. Also keep in mind that it takes a long time for Google to recognize your website, and new sites can be months without visitors. I highly recommend you checking out a video I made about the first 6 months of a blog. I've left a link to it in the description. In this video, I will show you exactly how long it took for my profitable websites to get significant traffic from Google. Nonetheless, that's it for today's video. So provide value and write useful content. Don't worry about consistency or how many blog posts you can write per day. No matter what you do, always be useful and always try to be the best. Thanks so much for watching the video, and I hope to see you in the next one.